into it. Obviously, coming off a bye week where we had a lot of productive practice time, recovery time as well. I feel that we have got a lot of things accomplished in terms of fundamentals and technique, schematically, program assessment, recruiting, all the things you want to do in your bye week. I think it was very productive in that sense, and at the same time, got a jump our opponent this week, Washington, 12:30 kickoff, obviously on Saturday here at Autzen. So, with that being said, ready for questions.
Questions? Right over here, front right, Ryan.
Mario, how much do you think the lessons you guys learned against Stanford and playing in that big game and not being able to hold on could pay off in this game now that you have a similar type opponent coming in?
Well, I think anything, as the season goes on, any type of experience you have is always very useful and applicable as you go forward. We're talking this as an offensive staff. We actually don't. We have really one senior on the offense, and that's a two grad transfers actually, in Kano and in Tabari. So, that's something that I think our guys have kept in mind. We certainly don't feel we're the same team that we were a year ago. We certainly don't feel we're the same team we were 3 weeks ago. And with every rep, with every down, with every game that goes by, we feel like we gain a little more ground and make more progress towards what we want to do and what we want to be.
Right here, Austin, front row.
Mario, Oregon coaches have taken different approaches to rivalries through the year. Rich Brooks really played up the Civil War. Chip Kelly kind of had the faceless opponent mentality. How do you approach a rivalry week?
Well, I think when you're playing Pac-12, you're playing conference football every single week as a playoff game. And when you add the fact that it's a rivalry, an extremely intense one, which everyone knows and no one can or should deny, I think that the motivation for that takes care of itself in a positive way. And I think it's a necessary aspect always to address with your players, which we have. So they're excited. They're excited. I know the entire country will be having eyes over here on this game to see exactly what goes down in Autzen. So don't know if that answers your question, but we prepare. We don't ever try to mask or hide or downplay the factors that go into rivalry games. I guess that's the best way I could answer that. So, but it's always going to be like that with the way that we prepare and motivate our players. It's always going to be at the highest level we could possibly do it.
Front left, Matt.
There was a story that you scouted yourself a lot last week. What did you see out of that film, and then what can you take away from that?
Mm-hmm. Well, we certainly feel that we've improved from a discipline standpoint. I mean, that's it's obvious, and it's at the same time there's plenty of room for improvement. I mean, there are moments and there are times and plays and series where we feel that we really could have and didn't take that next step, as an offensive, defense, or special teams unit. But there is progress in that part we're certainly happy about. We certainly want to improve our coverage teams over the bye week, which we started off the year very well. This last game, the last couple of reps, especially on kickoff, I felt like we took our foot off the gas, and our players recognize that. It's been addressed, and we did a much better job during the bye week, working off special teams at full speed. Also felt that some of the things that maybe we didn't do as well early in the season, certain pressures to block, certain movements, certain pass patterns to cover, certain times we want to bring or use our pressures and technique at the line of scrimmage, pad level, use of hands, hat position, all that stuff. I don't think there's ever a time where you're not finding little, pieces and places and where you can improve. And it's a really long list, but it's going to be a long checklist every single bye week. But we want to, instead of going overboard and trying to do too many things and getting lost and getting spread out, then we want to focus on 3 things by position group and then 3 things overall as a unit. And I think we feel good about accomplishing those goals.
Mario, they have 2 new play callers this year. As you look at them compared to a year ago, particularly offensively, they're down a bit in rushing, down about a touchdown a game from a year ago. What have you seen? What have you noticed in their change in offense with this play caller?
Well, I mean, they're very similar. They really are. They've got a big, seasoned and physical offensive line. Arguably one of the best backs in the country. A guy that is explosive, has power. hard to tackle. And they have a quarterback that I believe has started every game since he's been there, if I'm not mistaken. But who knows how to run that offense through and through, not only as a guy that can throw the ball. Obviously, he's very accurate, can make the big play, can extend plays with his feet, but he also puts them in the right run game situations and can get to advantage runs. So we don't see any drop off in them offensively. And defensively, again, it's the same kind of stuff. They're really big and physical up front defensively, but I don't think they get enough credit for is how athletic they are, and they can get very exotic on third down and bring a bunch of different pressures. But on first and second down football, you'll see corner fire, you'll see safeties coming off the edge, you'll see linebacker plugs. So, they have packages and they bring a lot of different things to test you offensively, test your blocking schemes, put pressure on the perimeter game as well. So we see a lot of the same stuff. We don't see much change on either side of the football.
Going into the year, a lot of people thought maybe UW's receivers were unproven. Aaron Fuller seems to have established himself as a pretty good player. How does he stack up against the rest of the guys you've played this year?
Well, he's a great player, and he's explosive. He's a fast guy. They do a great job on those 50-50 balls. He can high point the ball. He can get up there to high point the ball. So he has the ability to do it, and he goes and he has a demeanor to go and do it. So, but even though the word was that their receivers weren't proven, what we found out quickly, and just watching this game last week, is that they can really stretch the field. They get in and out of their breaks extremely well. They catch the ball, they get their hands out there on the ball. They're not body catchers. They're really good football players.